this one good thing that a good friend of mine told me as well. He said like you should follow your gut feeling, you know, especially this is for, I think, for me, my opinion, for all people, like your gut feeling brought you to where you are today. So why should you stop listening to your gut feeling, basically? So for me, at times it still happens as well, like where I think like, okay, but then I'm like, nah, actually I'm good, you know, I'm good where I'm at right now and what I'm doing, and I just know that if I want to do something, I can trust my intuition, you know, I can trust myself, like, okay, yeah. And of course, I'm open for advice, you know, if people recommend me to do certain things, you know, definitely open for it. But at the end of the day, I can trust my own decision to be like, okay, yeah, I want to go for a certain thing or not, or yeah.
Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Settling In with SA. And today, my guest is David. So let's meet our guest.
Hello, everyone. My name is David, and I'm Belising's colleague. I'm currently a student, so I'm working at Classroom as a student. And I'm also a part-time athlete, so I'm also in track and field. To be more specific, in the jumping events, the long jump and the triple jump. And yeah, I'm very happy and excited to have a talk with Blessing today.
Tell us a bit about your childhood.
So about my childhood, so my parents are from Congo. For me, I was born and raised here, actually in Belgium. Went to a Dutch-speaking school. Grew up in Flanders, actually in Belgium, and then eventually also speaking French at home. So French is kind of my native language. Then eventually, after finishing high school, so fully in Dutch, I went on to proceed my education in English. So I did like a bachelor's degree in English, and now I'm currently going for a master's degree. That's also going back in Dutch, actually in a Dutch university in Ghent, basically. And so yeah, it's a bit of a mix of languages and yeah, but I'm handling it, I'm managing it. It's sometimes very confusing, but it's alright, yeah.
So how has that been for you so far? Because you have to study in different languages, and at home, what you have at home is also different from what you have outside. So how do you find the balance?
Not being afraid to make mistakes. I was realizing that the reason why I was just lacking and being slow on actually learning the languages was mostly because I was just too afraid to like speak out and like be confident and comfortable about making mistakes, because it's normal, you know, if you learn a new language, it's normal that you will start from scratch and basically make a lot of mistakes. But as soon as I just told myself, like, just go, you know, especially with my education, academic English, I just had no choice, because most of the students in my class were native English speakers as well. So then I was forced to speak English as well, and then that's how I developed just a proper base of speaking English as well.
So how was your integration process into school?
I'm forever grateful for my parents. You know, they just put me in sports from a very young age, and for me, being engaged on a social level, it was never really a challenge. You know, despite me being, I mean, most of the time I was the only, you know, colored person, you know, in a group of Belgian people. But yeah, I never really had trouble of, you know, just engaging from the start. And it also taught me how, I mean, kind of how the system works in Belgium as well, not only on a professional level, but also like on a familiar level, how it is among friends, families, how the people over here between their families engage. Because for me, I grew up in an African household, and then you have a Belgian household. It's totally different. I remember there were times where I used to go play at my friend's house, and how they engage with their parents is totally different. You know, like how they handle certain situations I cannot do at home. Same thing for them as well. You know how we handle certain situations. They don't do it like that at home, and how they together. It's interesting. You know, I learned a lot from them, and you know how they treat families, and yeah, it's interesting to see the comparison. You know, and yeah.
So have you had like any conflict? What I mean by conflict is
Yeah.
because what you see as at home is different from what you get outside. So do you get like confused? And you know, because I'll see for my brother.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time he started, he didn't know what he really wanted.
Yeah.
He started talking to back to my parents because he felt that was the way, and he really didn't understand what he needed to do for himself. So I think it's because just being here for him, it's kind of confused. He really doesn't have focus, you know, because he doesn't know where to go, and he's also trying to be, you know, like if you're in a new place, there are some groups of people that you don't need to be. But I think he was trying so much to be in that group, and maybe because they were not really accepting him, he didn't find something that was good for him, so he was kind of confused. So have you ever had a situation where you've been kind of confused?
You know, we were very religious, you know, grew up in a Christian household, and also we grew up in a Christian household basically. And yeah, for me, especially in high school, what the young people do, you know, how they live, maybe smoking or getting into drinking alcohol and stuff. For me, it was forbidden at home, and I'm glad that my parents just kept on hammering on it. You know, don't drink, don't do certain things. You're in sports anyway, so you need to be healthy in the first place, anyways. And these kind of things made me realize, like, okay, it is tempting. I'm not gonna lie, especially when you're young and everyone is doing it. But I mean, I think right now in adult life, you know, growing up, there are still certain things when you hear or see, you know, you see people doing stuff and you think like, oh, it looks fun, you know, but then, you know, you just understand, like, you just get a better understanding, like, who you are as a person and what you need to do and where you should be at, you know. So for me, my parents always telling me like, yeah, don't do it. Yeah, we should, you know, you should go to church and stuff. And now they don't have to tell me, you know, I know for myself, like, okay, yeah, these are the things that I do, and these are absolutely the things that I shouldn't be doing. So I think there were some conflicts, you know. There's always like a certain temptation of like you wanting to go a certain way or trying something out, but I think it's just a matter of knowing who you are as a person, you know, and your principle, your standards, and yeah, just sticking to it. Yeah.
So if I ask you now, how would you identify yourself as?
How I identify myself? I don't know. I think I can just say. I often do get the impression maybe I might be come over as unorthodox, like as in I just have a very basic way of living. Like for example, during the summer, I don't really do much of vacation. We just work in the garden basically. I think most of my friends, they also know as well. Like for me, it's just basically working in the garden all the time. And then yeah, I don't really even when I was young, I never really had the lifestyle of like standard student, going out, having fun. It was mostly just going to school, going to sports, and then yeah, just the normal things, you know, doing. Stay focused on the things you basically have to do, yeah, as a student, yeah.
So have you ever tried to change who you are trying to fit into?
Yeah, this is actually a good question. Yeah, sometimes we like even now as well. Like there are there's still times where you think like, should I not be, you know, going out, engage more into things, and then even sometimes also people saying like, yeah, you should be more doing this or that, or like you should do that, and yeah, but this one good thing that a good friend of mine told me as well. He said like you should follow your gut feeling, you know, especially. This is I think for me, my opinion, for all people, like your gut feeling brought you to where you are today. So why should you stop listening to your gut feeling basically? So for me, At times it still happens as well, like where I think like, okay, but then I'm like, nah, actually I'm good, you know, I'm good where I'm at right now and what I'm doing, and I just know that if I want to do something, I can trust my intuition, you know, I can trust myself, like, okay, yeah. And of course, I'm open for advice, you know, if people recommend me to do certain things, you know, definitely open for it. But at the end of the day, I can trust my own decision to be like, okay, yeah, I want to go for a certain thing or not. Or yeah.
So you were born in Belgium, right?
Yeah, born in Belgium, born and raised.
Born and raised. And I would you consider yourself as someone that's fully integrated into the Belgium system, or do you still struggle in that aspect?
I wouldn't. Maybe it's I believe it's perspective. There are still. I still know a lot of people like me, you know, in the same situation. Even though they were born and raised here, they still don't feel that they're integrated. But in my perspective, I don't know. I think it's just my way of living, you know, being easygoing. Even when I was doing my internship in Germany, I find it very easy to integrate despite like not knowing too much German. Like my German is very basic, but I just have I think it's just perspective and trusting you yourself as a human being. You know, if you know that you're just a person, you know, who's easygoing and you just know that you're a good person, just let it out, you know, just be cool, be confident. And yeah, for me, in my opinion, I feel like I'm integrated, you know. Some people can say like, yeah, but your skin color and your ethnicity and everything, but for me, I've not really, I mean, I just live how I want to live, you know. Here I just do what I have to do, and yeah.